What if Darth Maul saved Anakin on Mustafar? In Revenge of the Sith, we witnessed Obi-Wan defeat Anakin, and soon after, it was Palpatine himself who rescued Anakin after his injuries. From there, he was placed into a black prison of a suit and lived the rest of his life in pain and suffering. But what if things were different? What if Maul saved Anakin on Mustafar? How different would things have been if this actually happened and he saved Anakin instead of Palpatine? Well, in this alternate timeline, that's exactly what we'll be diving into, so let's get right into it. Our story begins towards the end of the climatic duel between Palpatine and Maul. Just minutes ago, Palpatine killed Maul's brother Savage Opress, and now Maul held on a dear life as Palpatine tortured him with Force lightning.
Have mercy. Please, please.
There is no mercy. Do not worry. I'm not going to kill you. I have other uses for you. Do not mistake the fact that I have allowed you to live for compassion, my former apprentice.
Maul lifted his head slowly as he stood there in agony. For days now, he's been tortured by Palpatine and confined to this prison. All of his strength was gone. He was defeated.
There is a purpose for everything in this galaxy, and a way to destroy it.
I see you remember your lessons.
Maul heard footsteps. Who was that?
You summoned me, Master.
Yes, my apprentice. Come, Lord Tyrannus, let us leave here. We have much to discuss.
Dooku.
Maul swelled up with anger. Dooku. He was the one who replaced him. He should be the one standing side by side with Palpatine, not this weak old man. Maul became enraged. Every part of him wanted to break from these chains and attack Dooku. He wanted to prove that he was more powerful, that he was worthy, that he could stand right by Palpatine's side once more. But he couldn't. He was chained up with nowhere to go. So as Maul watched Dooku and Palpatine leave the room, he stood there hopeless and enraged. His brother Savage was dead and he had lost everything. However, as he stood there in pain and agony, he all of a sudden saw a gas of green smoke in front of him. As he looked, the smoke only grew larger and larger. Then he heard a voice he knew far too well.
Maul.
Maul looked up. Before him stood his mother, Mother Talzin.
Mother.
Speak to me, my beloved son.
Mother, I lost Savage, Mandalore, everything.
You assume too much, my son. The battle is far from over, and you are far from defeated.
What do you mean?
Do you believe your Mandalorian followers have abandoned you so easily? They will come, soon, to rescue you from your chains.
Are you certain?
Indeed, I have foreseen it.
Maul stood there in shock.
However, be wary, my son. With Sidious, nothing is ever as it seems. It is possible your escape will serve his design.
What is your guidance?
Once you escape, Sidious will expect you to flee, but he will not chase you. He will come for me. I am the last remaining threat to his power.
Then I need to protect you, Mother.
No. Your dark path lies elsewhere, my son. Your destiny is far larger than you can understand. Every step you take from this moment forward will shape what is to come.
Maul was confused.
What?
You will overthrow Sidious. I have foreseen it.
Maul's eyes widened.
But in order for this to happen, you need to do as I command.
Maul stayed silent.
I am sending you an army of our finest knight brothers. They will be under your command, Maul. With your Mandalorian fleet and this army, you will have everything you require. Bring them to Dathomir and wait.
Wait. Mother, with these numbers, we have an opportunity to strike now.
No. You must await the correct moment.
Maul grew angry.
What moment?
Dooku is but a placeholder, Maul. Just like you. Sidious will replace him as well. He will replace him with someone younger and someone far more powerful.
Who?
Talzin paused.
I cannot yet see clearly, but the presence is strong. A being of immense potential.
Are you certain of this?
I have foreseen it. All of Sidious's plans depend on this new apprentice of his. But if that apprentice becomes yours, then Sidious will have already lost. The Sith will fracture, and the galaxy will kneel before you.
How will I know who this apprentice is?
You will sense it, Maul. You will sense it.
Maul was intrigued, but he had one concern.
And what of you, Mother?
As I've said, I will lure Sidious and Dooku away, far from you. Sidious stole you from me when you were only a child. Now, I will confront him one final time. If I fall, then it is simply the will of destiny.
Maul had no words.
Now go, my son. Your fleet will be here momentarily. Lead them back to Dathomir. Remain patient, and when the time is ready, you will know when to strike.
Maul nodded.
Thank you, Mother.
A few months had passed since Maul was visited by Mother Talzin, and everything so far had gone according to what she said. Just like she predicted, Maul's army of Mandalorians rescued him, and now along with the Dathomirian Night Brothers, they hid out on Dathomir. However, to still maintain control of Mandalore, Maul kept a large portion of his Mandalorian fleet stationed there. That way the planet wouldn't be lost. Over these months, Maul remained patient just like his mother said to, but during this time, something strange happened. Recently, he'd been experiencing dark visions. Visions of pain, death, but at the same time, answers to everything. Recently, he's had visions that Sidious would soon be having control of the galaxy, and his apprentice would be Anakin Skywalker. At the time, not even Talzin knew who this new apprentice would be, but Maul was confident it was Skywalker. His vision showed them ruling side by side, so with that information, Maul knew where to strike. If he could deprive Sidious of Anakin as his apprentice, then his plan could work, and along with Skywalker, they could overthrow Sidious together. From there, Maul would be claimed as the new emperor, and Anakin would be his apprentice. Yes, that was exactly what he wanted. This is what his mother had foreseen. Although he hadn't heard from his mother in months now, he had to stick to the plan. He had to remain patient, and soon the galaxy would be his. However, little did he know, things were about to take a turn, sooner than he expected. As Maul now meditated within his chambers, he all of a sudden felt something odd, something sinister, a disturbance in the Force, unlike anything he's ever felt. What was this? What could...
You must choose!
Don't listen to him, Anakin!
It's not the Jedi way. He must live.
He's too dangerous to be let die.
Please don't. I need him. No!
Execute Order 66.
Maul felt cold. However, that gave him all the answers he needed. It was time. As Maul then stood up, he went to go approach his fleet, but as he did, he heard a voice.
Mustafar.
Mother. He hadn't heard his mother's voice in months, and this is what she says? Mustafar? The lava planet?
Mother, are you there?
No response.
Mother!
The room was silent. Mother Talzin was nowhere to be found. However, Maul knew better than to question her words. If she required him to travel to Mustafar, then so be it. Mustafar it was. As time passed, Maul traveled to Mustafar and brought a squad of Mandalorian troopers along with him. However, as he approached the surface of the planet, he noticed a platform with a Jedi interceptor and a silver Naboo starship. That Naboo starship, though, it looked way too familiar to him. Amidala. What was the Senator doing here? Maul wasn't sure, but to stay cautious, he flew low and in time landed among the outskirts. However, as he landed, he sensed a strong presence in the Force. This presence, though, it was filled with raw emotions. Anger, hatred, pain. Skywalker. It must be Skywalker. He must be here.
Troopers, Skywalker is here. I sense it. Split up and find him.
Yes, Lord Maul.
Maul's troopers left, as did Maul. After searching the planet, Maul was finally in luck. As he approached a nearby hill, he heard screams, agony, pain. Maul then looked from afar. As he did, he saw a man lying on the bank engulfed in flames. However, even worse, he saw him. He saw Kenobi. Maul swelled up with rage. Every ounce of him wanted to strike at Kenobi right then and there. He looked weak. He looked vulnerable. He could finally get his revenge on him. This could be it.
Skywalker.
Maul froze. As he heard his mother's voice once more, he had no words. His mother was right. One day as Emperor, he would have his revenge on Kenobi. He'll make sure of it. However, now wasn't the time for that. Right now, all that mattered was Skywalker. So, Maul watched as Kenobi left, but as he did, something shook him to his core. A shuttle flying above him. Maul recognized that shuttle far too well. That was Sidious. He had to act quickly. So, Maul rushed down to the surface to look at this damaged being. However, as he approached him, he took a close look at him.
You... What are you doing?
The man collapsed to his side. But as Maul looked closer at him, it hit him. That was Skywalker. How? Kenobi was his master, no? Maul was confused, but now wasn't the time for questions. It was time to act. So he quickly contacted his commander right away.
Saxon, we have no time to waste. I'm sending my coordinates now. Grab me, and let us leave this planet at once.
It will be done, Lord Maul.
Maul then grabbed Anakin from the ground and dragged him across the rocks. Any moment, Sidious would be here, so he had to hurry. In time, Saxon along with his troopers arrived and they were able to safely place Anakin on board. Now, them and Maul were aboard the ship, ready to return to Dathomir with Anakin. With Anakin's injuries though, Maul knew he had to get him medical attention right away. Luckily, they had a select few medical doctors from Mandalore stationed now in Dathomir, so they were able to get him taken care of. Although Skywalker might have lost a lot of his strength, Maul was determined to do whatever had to be done to restore him to full power. Anything to overthrow Sidious.
You... Release me now.
Now. Is that any way to speak to your rightful savior?
Savior?
Yes. After your defeat to Kenobi, it was I who saved you along those molten rivers of Mustafar. If it weren't for me, you would be dead.
Anakin went silent.
Oh, you don't remember?
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy us and not join them! Bring balance to the Force! Not leave it in darkness! You are my brother, Anakin! I love you!
Why did you save me?
Because you and I have a common enemy, Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker is dead.
A lie you tell yourself for comfort. As of the current moment, you are nobody. Your master left you for dead, the Jedi Order is all but gone, all you have left is me.
I'll give you one last chance. Release me.
There is no need for such hostility. As I mentioned, we share a common goal.
What goal?
Darth Sidious. You were too blinded by his words to really believe you were his equal. Just like me, he cast you aside. You were but a tool, just so he could rise to power. Now, we have the opportunity to overthrow him.
Anakin paused.
Where is Padme?
Amidala is it. Unfortunately, she is dead.
Dead?
Yes, from my understanding, her funeral took place 2 rotations ago.
No, she was alive. I felt it.
Anakin grew angry. With these words, he began crushing everything around him. The nearby medical equipment, the tools and supplies, everything. Maul was shocked. Here he thought Skywalker's power was diminished after his injuries, but he was still truly a force to be reckoned with. Brilliant, Maul thought to himself. Brilliant. However, if Skywalker were to be his apprentice, he had to learn his place. So, Maul did what had to be done.
It seems you have an emotional bond to this senator. Perhaps she is more significant to you than I thought.
Maul let go of his grip.
The Chancellor. He promised we would save her from death.
All the more reason to destroy him, don't you see? You were nothing more than a tool to him. You have anger. You have rage. Now is the time to use it. Join me.
Anakin stood silent. Anger and rage consumed him. At that moment, he realized he lost everything. The Jedi Order, his wife, his unborn child. He had nothing left. All he had was Maul. Although he knew he was destined for much more, Maul was all he had right now. He had nothing. He was truly trapped.
I will join you.
Good. Very good.
However, there is one condition. You will not speak of the name Skywalker again.
As you wish. And if not Skywalker, what shall I call you?
Vader.
In time, Vader was released from his table and was then fully encased into his new suit. As he stood, he was in full dark red armor made purely out of Beskar and other alloys. On top of that, he was also given a new helmet as well to cover his burns and injuries. This helmet was a Mandalorian helmet with an almost identical design to Maul's commander, Gar Saxon. However, this helmet connected to the rest of his suit and served as a life support system to help him survive his injuries. Although Vader was furious to be trapped in something like this, in a way he was impressed by the technology of it. So now he stood in front of Maul as they were ready to speak about the next steps.
It will take time before you are accumulated with your new suit. However, in time you will adjust and be ready.
Vader nodded.
Now, Vader, I present you with your own Sith lightsaber. One that formerly belonged to myself and will now be your new weapon. Over these next weeks, we will be training to regain your strength, and when ready, we will confront Sidious together. With no apprentice, Sidious is nothing, and the Empire is weak. So let us begin your training at once.
As you wish, Lord Maul.
A few weeks had passed since Vader entered his new suit, and since then, he and Maul had been training each and every day. From teachings in the dark side to lightsaber combat, Maul taught Vader everything he knew. As for Maul, he was impressed by Vader's abilities, even to the point where he feared that he may even be more powerful than him. So it was important that he always reminded Vader that he was the apprentice, nothing more. As for Vader though, although he was growing stronger each and every day, he was constantly filled with rage and grief. Every minute, every hour, all he could think about was Padme. However, Maul noticed this, so he kept reminding him to use it as fuel against the Emperor. Now a few weeks later, Vader was ready, and it was now time to confront Sidious once and for all.
You have done well, my apprentice. Now it is time. Saxon and 3 of our soldiers are already on Coruscant, awaiting the right moment. They will inform us when Sidious is present in his office. We will depart now, and once informed, our fleet will exit hyperspace, strike down their forces, and you and I will attack when he least expects it. From there, our ground team will storm the lower levels, and if all goes well, we shall secure the Senate building within mere moments. Understood?
Understood.
Good. Now, let us have our revenge.
In time, Maul, Vader, and many of their fleet left the planet as they all set course for Coruscant. As they all arrived, Maul was informed that Sidious was present inside his office, which meant that it was time. So, he and Vader used their jetpacks and made their way down to the surface, where it was there they snuck into the Emperor's office. Making their way in, they quickly killed all the guards on the outside, and it was finally there where they came face to face with Sidious.
Impressive, Lord Maul. Very impressive.
Your rule has come to an end, Sidious.
I must say, I am quite amazed you were able to escape my grasp. And here you are, recruiting another student of your own.
Palpatine looked closer at the masked figure. He studied his physique, his raspy breathing, but most of all, he sensed his presence. Palpatine's smile faded and it quickly turned into worry. Even Maul himself had never seen him like this.
Impossible.
But probable. You see, Sidious, just like Lord Vader, we were both mere tools in your grand plan, but not anymore.
Lord Vader is mine. He will not obey your commands. He needs me more than you know.
Lies, deceit. Yes, that is the way of the Sith. However, you assume he is unaware of his wife's death?
You promised we'd save her.
I did, until you killed her in your anger.
Vader grew angry.
She was alive. I felt it.
On the landing platform back on Mustafar, you choked her until her eventual death. However, if we work together, I know we can discover a secret to bringing her back. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Vader went silent.
You make a grave mistake, Lord Vader. You are far more powerful than Lord Maul, yet you remain as the apprentice. You will never unlock your full potential. Kill me now, and you will be nothing more than his slave.
Enough. We end this now.
Maul nodded, and from there, they both ignited their lightsabers.
So be it.
Sidious ignited his, and with that, he leaped towards the two of them. As he did, he then clashed up against the newly built Vader and Maul. However, unlike their previous fight together, this time Sidious struggled. Vader was far more powerful than Savage ever was, and Sidious knew that. With both his and Maul's power combined, he was strung back by how strong the two were. However, Sidious noticed one weakness: Vader's suit. Clearly, he still wasn't adjusted to his new suit, so Sidious tried doing everything he could to target him. Unfortunately though, he couldn't find a weakness in it. Although he knew Vader had to be relying on a life support system, he couldn't exploit it, mainly because the suit was made from Beskar. Beskar was designed to fight up against sabers, and so for the first time ever, Palpatine didn't have an answer for this. In time though, things only got worse for him. With both Vader and Maul's power, they were soon able to overwhelm the Emperor and knock him right to the ground. Now, Maul and Vader stood above Palpatine, who was defeated, but weirdly enough, he started cackling.
Good. Very good. It seems you both have learned well from my teachings.
Your power is insignificant next to our combined strength. Now, any last words, my former master?
Your arrogance blinds you, Lord Maul. Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Out of nowhere, Palpatine unleashed a barrage of Force lightning right at Maul, which threw him back. Now, Maul was struggling to block the lightning, and as this occurred, Vader took a step back and watched as everything went down.
You must choose! Join me. Complete your training, Lord Vader.
Don't listen to him. You will be nothing more than his tool.
At that moment, Vader was left with a choice. With both Maul and Sidious going back and forth, the power lied in his hands. He could either kill Maul right there and be the apprentice to the all-powerful Darth Sidious, or he could strike Sidious down and set out to rule with Maul just as they'd planned. Vader was conflicted. However, then his thoughts shifted. Why be either of their apprentices when he could rule the galaxy himself? He had confidence that he was more powerful than both of them. So at that moment, Vader knew exactly what he had to do.
Help me, Lord Vader. Help me.
Vader looked at Maul, then looked at Sidious.
No.
Out of nowhere, Vader leaped towards Sidious, and with his saber, he struck him right through his chest. With that, Sidious was dead, and Vader had truly defeated him. It was really over. As Maul looked from afar, he was shocked. It really was done. Although he wanted to be the one to kill Sidious, that didn't matter. The job was finished, and the galaxy was now his.
You have done well, Lord Vader. Sidious stood no chance. Now, your journey to the dark side is nearly complete. Kneel before me, my apprentice.
Silent. However, he couldn't help but smirk under his helmet.
Your service was greatly appreciated, Lord Maul. But as you know, there could only be one master, and that will not be you.
Is that so? I am most disappointed by your betrayal. Especially after I was the one to save you from that scorching planet after your failure to Kenobi. Well then, I see no further option than to battle to the death, Skywalker.
Vader clenched his fist. Rage swelled within him. So at that moment, he then leaped forward and went in to attack Maul. With that, he and Maul began to clash with their black and red blades going back and forth. As they did, their skills were almost evenly matched. Maul was an experienced veteran, and Vader was of course the chosen one, but he was also weakened by his new form. However, as the two kept clashing, Maul began to overpower Vader. After studying him for the last few weeks, Maul learned every strength and weakness about him, and so he was able to use that to his advantage. In time, Vader stood no chance. Maul's speed, his quickness, his agility. Vader just couldn't keep up. Then in time, Maul eventually got the upper hand on him and kicked him right to the ground. With that, Vader's lightsaber then fell to the floor, and he was defeated.
You will always be beneath me, Skywalker. So I will give you one last chance. Join me, or die. Learn the true power of the dark side, and together we can rule this galaxy. We can rid the treachery of the Galactic Empire and form our own dynasty. Or suffer the same fate as you did to Kenobi.
Vader went silent. At that moment, he was defeated. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and nowhere to go. With the darksaber pointed at his throat, he had no other option but to surrender. Or at least, that's what Maul believed.
You are beaten, Skywalker.
Vader glanced over at his nearby lightsaber on the ground. However, luckily, Maul couldn't see his eyes shift under his mask. At that moment, Maul had lost, and he hadn't even known it yet. So as Vader laid there, he looked up at him and said,
Anakin Skywalker is dead.
Out of nowhere, Vader force-pulled his nearby saber and struck it right through Maul's chest. Now, Maul laid on the ground and looked up at Vader, who stood above him.
Why?
You saved me on Mustafar. Now, allow me to save you.
Maul had no words. He couldn't reply. He was in too much agony. However, in a rare act, he accepted his fate. For so long, he was consumed by getting revenge on Sidious, but now it led to him being blinded by his own arrogance. He was bested by a far more powerful warrior, and there was nothing he could do about it. Maul had truly lost.
Die well, Maul.
With one strike of his blade, Vader stabbed his saber right through Maul's chest. It was done. Darth Maul was truly dead. With both Sidious and Maul dead, Vader was the last man standing. As this occurred, he then picked up the Darksaber and ignited it in front of his face. At that moment, he couldn't help but laugh. The Emperor was dead, Maul was dead, Mandalore belonged to him, the Empire also belonged to him, but most of all, the galaxy belonged to him. Now as Emperor, he was going to rule with an iron fist, but most of all, learn the Sith secrets that were kept from him. That included resurrecting his wife Padme from the dead. Nobody could stop him, nobody could overthrow him, and nobody could stand in his way.
The galaxy, it belongs to me now.